It's pretty surreal.
Right?
Yes. All right.
Buyers lined up in the U.S. state of Colorado last week as it became legal for them to purchase marijuana for recreational use. Previously, marijuana had been only legal in the state for medical purposes. Technically, growing, selling, or possessing marijuana, they are all still illegal on the federal level. One country that has moved to legalize every step of the marijuana industry, from seed to sale to smoking, is Uruguay. By a 16-13 margin, the Senate approved a bill making it legal. Consumers can buy a little more than an ounce at a time from licensed pharmacies as long as they live in Uruguay and are over the age of 18. The law is still not fully implemented. But there, as in Colorado, there is a new insight into who is buying marijuana. CCTV's Mary McCarthy reports now from Denver.
She's a college graduate and a working mom. She also happens to use marijuana.
The more people see that it's just normal people like me, it's normal people, it's lawyers, it's doctors, it's soccer moms, that they'll realize that there's no reason to stigmatize this. This isn't a bunch of layabout, shiftless, aloof, stoner types who just want to get high all day.
Samantha Walsh says she's part of a culture of adult marijuana consumers who use the drug responsibly.
I think anybody who's been, a cannabis consumer for a while now would equate it to the wine or the beer industry. There's connoisseur grade, there's a certain quality level that people appreciate as they become more experienced.
It's not just cannabis users who defy the pothead stereotype. So do many of the people who work in the marijuana industry. Attorney Jessica Peck is a mother and a conservative Republican, but she was also active in the pot legalization movement and represents clients who run marijuana dispensaries.
Whereas 5 or 10 years ago, coming out as a pro-pot Republican could be devastating for one's political prospects, now there's sort of a ceasefire within the party.
In fact, one of the staunchest conservative voices in the U.S., the National Review magazine, this week came out in favor of nationwide legalization of recreational cannabis. Perhaps one of the most obvious signs of pot's popularity here in the U.S. is sales, with well over $5 million worth of recreational marijuana sold here in Colorado in the first 5 days of operation. That's according to the National Cannabis Industry Association. But the drug does remain illegal under U.S. federal law, which means that users still face some possible obstacles. Employers have the right to fire anyone who fails a drug test. But Jessica Peck predicts that as marijuana use becomes more widely accepted, few companies will crack down on it.
As we become more acclimated to marijuana for recreational purposes, we're going to see less employers drug testing. According to university researchers this year, up to 1 in 4 Coloradans that are adults will be using marijuana in the next year.
Meanwhile, some medical officials say the easy access to the drug in Colorado poses risks, especially to young people.
Adolescent exposure to marijuana can significantly change brain development permanently.
Dr. Christian Thurstone is among the voices calling for a strong public health campaign, warning that marijuana is not a benign substance, especially for teenagers, children, and pregnant women. Mary McCarthy, CCTV, Denver.